Yes, madam, now you can start.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Good evening, all of you. Today will be the last session, and as per the syllabus, I'm going to complete the two remaining methods or approaches related with qualitative research. Okay. Yes. I think regarding the case study method also, you haven't received the earlier presentation of mine, but today she will be sharing that also. First of all, we will discuss today about phenomenological inquiry, or it is also called as phenomenological research in some of the texts. So, any idea what exactly it is, or how far it is different compared to the earlier methods, or whatever if we had discussed under case study, or even under ethnography or grounded theory as such? Anybody has his or observation about this particular technique? Already first slide shows some content on that basis also, you can try to answer.
I mean, I know in therapy that phenomenology means that the other person's inner like world, we try to understand their own perspective to things.
Okay.
And
So can we say it is more based on the experiences by the person or rather the individual as such?
yes.
So on that basis, we can say not necessarily always they might be very concrete or rather very clear to the researcher or whoever is trying to do the study on that basis. Okay, so usually we also call it as little immaterial. Okay, we can't locate that particular things or the way his thought processes are there or his particular subjective experience are there. So in simple way, they have mentioned they are the individual experiences, beliefs, and options. And usually, whatever the text has been used, it is like a proxy for human experience because not necessarily it is whole and soul content based on that particular person's individual experiences. Questions and observations are aimed at drawing out individual experiences and perceptions, as already you answered about that. Usually, the researcher is going to ask certain question, or he might use the observation method. On the basis of that, he might try to understand whatever the individual is experiencing or whatever his or her perceptions are there. Even in they can also use the method of focus group to check what are the specific experiences or how he can also try to allot the various experiences on the basis of the bigger group. Means it may not be only for one single individual, but more than one individual as such. Sometimes they are also using in-depth interviews as method or technique, as well as focus groups to collect this particular data. Oh. So the theoretical point of view, we can say the basic phenomenology is to reduce the experiences of persons with a phenomenon to a description of the universal essence, or in simple way, we can say it is a grasp of the very nature of the thing as per Van Manen. And in qualitative research, they also called phenomenon or identify it as a object, because as I said earlier also, though we might not have the uh, data like quantitative data like in numbers or in particular kind of degrees as such, but here the human experiences itself are like we can also call it as like a stimulus, or on that basis only the researcher or investigator is trying. I have also given various examples like what are the particular phenomenon as such, or rather the human experiences related with that. It might be the feeling like or emotion of anger, or it might be like insomnia, like sleeplessness, or so. So here, how the collection of data is there. So from persons who have experienced the phenomenon and develops a composite description of the essence of the experience for all the individuals, what they experience and how they experience it. Yes, we main objective of the researcher will be, he is going to ask the people, whoever are his subjects or rather the examinee as such, what exactly the different kinds of phenomena they are experiencing and what exactly the reason or how, means in what way they are experiencing them. Okay, like just now we had taken the example, for example, about anger. So naturally, whenever the person is showing or expressing the anger, how he himself is trying to define that or what caused the person to get angry. So this kind of the inquiry or other, this kind of survey will be done on the basis of this phenomenological data. So naturally, again, in the majority of the times, it is used in philosophy, psychology, and education. And most of the time, they can also check the same phenomenon has been experienced by more than one individuals. The sample size might not be very high as such, but the same phenomenon can be checked by the group of individuals with same kind of shared experiences. And again, the data can be collected by interviews or the documents, observation, and it might be also related with some kind of artwork or earlier data, document as such. Yes, later on I will give you the example about this. Actually, they are also saying what is the origin of this particular concept. So, if all of you are aware about example of Sigmund Freud's particular technique to treat his patient and how one can take that particular example as a behavioral phenomenon. Anybody wants to try that? Which are the two major technique he used to apply on treating his patient, Sigmund Freud?
So free association was one.
And can you repeat?
Free association. So
he
used to tell the patient to just say whatever is coming into their mind right now without any filter.
Right. Farah was saying something.
Same.
Okay. So, as we are talking about the human experience, naturally, when this patient or he used his patient to just go on narrating or go on telling about the ideas whichever are coming in their minds as such. Okay, so that technique they used to call as free association. Naturally, these are the particular experiences of those patients or clients, and they try to, though we can't call it as a narration as such, but they go on expressing their thoughts, their behavior, their beliefs, their opinions or emotions rather in a form of those free association. Okay, the same way here also they are talking about one another example here. This was been referred by Creswell. So how the behavioral phenomenon can be understood with the conscious experience of events, but it doesn't mean that we are trying to build up any theory like in a grounded theory last time we had discussed, but it will be just the kind of sharing of those experiences last year. So the concept can be best understood with the help of one of the studies which was done in which patients were asked to describe about caring and non-caring nurses in hospitals. Okay, so there are the two groups of nurses. One is about how they show their caring towards their patients, and how other group is there where they are not that caring towards their patients. So actually, the patients explain those nurses to be caring, who show their existential presence and not mere their physical
Madam, there is no voice. Hello.
I think there is network problem, Amit. Just wait a minute.
I'm not audible, Farah?
Yes, ma'am, you left. I think there was some network problem. You left. all of a sudden. Ma'am, there is no PPT also now.
What happened, madam? Hello, anything wrong, Farah?
Sir, I think there is some network problem. Ma'am got disconnected, sir.
But ma'am is here.
Yeah, but only the name is here.
Oh God. Okay. So what are the topics you have understood from madam?
Students, you can respond now. What are the topics you all have understood?
Just now, what madam discussed?
My voice is not clear, Farah?
Yes, yes. Now you
No,
are
It
okay.
is, it is there, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to see the screen? Or shall I share it
No,
again?
ma'am. Ma'am, please share
Huh?
it again, ma'am. Ma'am, please
Okay,
share it
okay.
again.
There is some breaking in between, I think, network issue.
Yes,
Just
ma'am.
So we were talking about that one study related with the nurses. So am I audible
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
all
Yes,
of
ma'am.
you? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So as I was referring about, there were two groups. One is related with nurses who are caring, and the other one is not caring towards their patient. Okay, so I was asking you all one question when they have explained about this. The patients, those explain those nurses to be caring who show their existential presence and not mere their physical presence. So can anyone just elaborate on this? Why there is a difference and a basic reason they have talked about, that is the one group is showing existential presence while the other is just being there like physical presence.
Maybe the existential presence means ki understanding what the patients are going through. Like they must be afraid ki, I mean, adjusting to their hospital stay basically. So the nurses may be showing more empathy towards that, and rather than just
True,
doing their
true.
duties.
Completing their duty. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. Is
Ma'am,
it
one
clear
is
now?
showing. Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
One,
Yes, Farah.
ma'am, one group was showing the compassion and the other one is just
Yes,
doing it.
yes. Right, right. Or even we can also say when they talk about existential, it is not just their mere presence as such, but they try to be very empathetic, or rather doing their duty with more involvement, I can say, or even they are a little concerned about those patients or whatever the request they are making as such. Okay, so they have also explained this concept, existential presence of caring nurses refer to the positive response showed by them to the patient's request. Yes, like you can just imagine the situation in various hospitals. Usually, after a certain period of time, or we usually call that concept like more emotional or mental exhaustion, or the nice term for that is burnout. I think all of you are aware about that. So if this is possible in the particularly the duty, or rather the occupation like nursing, then it will be little difficult for the patients to take care of them. So here they have mentioned about that particular point of view, that is how there is a difference between these two groups. So the relaxation, comfort and security that the client expresses both physically and mentally are an immediate and direct result of the client's stated and unstated needs being heard and responded to by the nurse. So that was the major change between the nurses who are caring. They are trying to show that with their clients, or rather the, those hospitalized patients. So here, when they talk about phenomenology, naturally, they are more worried, or they are more concerned about the lived experiences of individuals. Okay, it is not just the thing which has already been happened, but it is the actual conscious experience of the person The goal is to explain a phenomenon from the perspective of those who have experienced it. It describes the meaning behind an experience devoid of the researcher's preconceived notions and assumptions. Yes, this is very important to remember because I think every research expects that one should have the objectivity, or a little bit we can also call it as not adding our own opinions or ideas or notions as such. So here also they are referring the same concept. Here how the researcher is trying to collect the data on the basis of the client's experiences, but without adding their own subjective biases in that. As I said earlier also, okay, the same concept can be related with the term given by Freud, that is consciousness. So already I think we had discussed about this, how Freud used to deal with his clients on the basis of the free association technique. Okay, so there are some data analysis strategies related with phenomenology research assets. So first is analyzing data for significant statements, meaning units, textural and structural description, and description of the essence. So I think essence is more related with the actual experience which is shared by that particular person. So it is again linking towards the research problem or question which has been developed by the researcher. Then research procedures like a phenomenology and philosophical assumptions, data collection, analysis, and outcomes. Then there are some typical statements given by the research, examinee that will be checked by the researcher. Even what exactly the understanding of those statements by the researcher will be also checked. Then themes underlying those meanings and the detailed description of those phenomena. So I think this is briefly, I try to cover this particular one method, that is phenomenological research or inquiry. Just one question I want to ask, how far it is commonly used in psychology or any of the social sciences? Are you aware about this, or in which field again, in which area rather we can use this phenomenological inquiry?
Ma'am, can we use this method in checking or understanding the experiences or symptoms of PTSD?
Okay, yes. Miss, are you referring more related with the person who is undergoing with some kind of symptoms as such, or any kind of
Yes.
disturbances in his physical or psychological states as
Yes.
such?
Flashbacks and
just to understand,
memory.
yes, just to understand. Yes, right. Anybody else? That is one possibility where we can use this, because again, it might be again individual experiences of that particular person, or as that day also we have referred about recent earthquake in Turkey and Syria. So there also, if a group of people who have been experienced that, and if you want to collect the data from those people. Any other area where we can apply this?
Ma'am, is it related to person-centered therapy?
You mean to say client center?
Yes, ma'am.
But Miss, do you want to say the therapist can also use phenomenological inquiry while applying that method or
Yes,
that
ma'am.
therapy, or in what way you are
Ma'am,
in that way?
like
you
ma'am,
are
in
saying?
counseling, by using
Right,
this.
Miss. Rather,
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Miss. Initially, to collect the information from the client, they might take the help of this particular research technique. Okay. Anybody else is thinking about trying to answer?
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Yes.
Hello.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, in very big, yes, ma'am. In very
bolo.
beginning, this method was used by Wundt in psychophysics, the
William Wundt.
introspection. Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
So we can also use it in psychophysics.
Okay. Do you mean to say experimental psychology?
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Because again, we can say psychophysics is like a combination of particular physical stimulus, sensory experiences which can be understood or rather perceived by the person or rather the individual. Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
So now see, but just by slowly grasping the then you can get a variety of examples. So yes, I can say through reading more material on this basis, you can also think about some additional examples. Okay. Anybody else want to answer apart from this? Shall I go to next technique then?
Madam, post-COVID
Ah. Yes, yes, Amit sir.
post-COVID trauma to the
Ah,
who have lost their dear ones.
okay, okay. But Miss, exactly which of that emotion or which of that particular trauma you want to tap there, or other Miss, why I'm asking this question, because recently we had taken the example of PTSD, but in post-COVID again I can say though there are some very common reasons behind that, but there are some very specific reasons behind the demise of that particular
Coping with the life,
person. Okay.
coping with the life.
Okay. 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 Right. How they had just after the trauma. Okay. Right. Yes, we can take that example. No. Okay. So now we will move towards the next, that is narrative inquiry, or it is also called as narrative analysis or narrative research. And I think this will be the most comparably, I can say it is little simpler technique compared to the earlier four of them. And in day-to-day practice or in daily interaction between one and two people, or even at our interpersonal level, we are using this in a very simple way, but how it can be also utilized or applied in the research, so that we can discuss now. So first of all, one another form also we are going to discuss related with this, as well as uh, which are the exact concepts underlying this particular method as such. So first of all, I will just explain about this. Pinnegar and Dance in 2006 suggests that narrative can be both a method and a phenomenon of study. So can we discuss about this? Why they are trying to explain this? It is a method, that is a technique also at the same time. The narrative itself is a phenomenon of study. Anybody can try to explain this with some example? Want to try this?
And that is diary writing or
Yes,
autobiography type.
yes. Yes, it is both biography as well as autobiography. But I just want to explain this. So, can you be able to focus on this? Why it can be both? Like it is a method also, at the same time, it is a particular phenomenon of study. Like earlier, we have already just discussed about phenomenological research as such. On that point of view, when we can call it as a phenomenon of study.
Madam, can you repeat the question?
I'm asking about when they say narrative analysis or narrative research is both a method and a phenomenon of study. So I'm just asking you people whether we can take some example where it is also a method, at the same time it is also an example of phenomenon of study, or when we can call it as method and when we can call it as a phenomenon of study.
Ma'am, when we are talking about a particular incidence of a person where his emotions are involved,
Mhm.
that it
That
can
time it is
be narrative, how his experiences like flashbulb memory type. If he is saying about a particular event, then everything is clear too, and his emotions are involved in it.
Mhm. So, but tell me about whether that time it is a method or a phenomenon study, or are they together?
Ma'am, they are together
Hmm.
because that is a
So that's why.
method we can know about his feelings by his
So that
narrations.
right. So that only I wanted to ask. Even if I say ki there is one particular individual's life history, okay, that will be a
Yes.
phenomenon of study. Okay, and how we are trying to understand that life history. Which variety of method will be a narrative? That is a method.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Getting it clear now, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so somebody is saying something.
Yeah, ma'am, I didn't understand this point actually.
I did not.
Okay. Okay, no issue. I'm just giving you one example as Seema has given about one particular person's some kind of event is recalled or rather remembered with the flashback memory. But rather than going towards that example, I just gave you one example like a person who might be a very kind of a leader kind of person, and his life history we will call as a phenomenon of study. That is, we or whoever is the researcher, he's trying to study that particular person's life history. Okay, and in what way he is studying that particular person's life history, that time we are using the narrative as one of the method or one of the technique. Got it? Clear or no?
Yes. So can I just
Huh?
paraphrase it for my own clarity?
Yes.
Like so narrative is also a method to understand somebody's experiences, and because they are like human experiences, that is why it is called a phenomenon, right?
Yes, right. Because we usually do that only. If I'm reading somebody's autobiography, what I will do by reading his autobiography, I need to get some of the inspiration or motivation by reading that. Getting it? So that time also by reading the autobiography, the whoever is the author or writer of that, he or she is just trying to narrate his own experiences. They can't be each and everyone's experiences. Whoever is reading that autobiography, but still we can call it as a phenomenon of study. Getting it?
Yes.
So as a method, it begins with the experiences as expressed in lived and told stories of individuals. Yes, like we can again say narrative should be the personal experiences. Okay, and they are already been happened with that particular person, then only we will call it as a narrative. यानी मेरा narrative फरा नहीं बता सकता. I need to narrate about my experience in my own words. Okay, in that way they are saying this. So again, it might be a form in the form of test, discourse, or narrative research. And again, the origin of this particular method or technique is throughout like literature, history, anthropology, sociology, social linguistics, and education. Okay, so most of the even you all are aware about this. Whenever you are studying any kind of psychopathological disorder, okay, and if you are reading a very good standard books as such, on the basis of each and every disorder, there will be some kind of case study or rather the narrative by the therapist. Okay, so that can also be one of the very elaborative example to understand what exactly the problem or rather the symptoms of that particular disorder as. Okay, so in that way they are saying it is also related with the education. Again, it is a qualitative research method which involves the close reading of text in order to interpret the stories they tell. The stories told by a text can provide insight into the culture, values, and beliefs of the people who created them. So, again, if you remember, right, from our childhood days, we have listened to so many stories. And during those days, you might be very fond of listening to those stories by your granny or your grandfather also. But what exactly it indicates at that time, or are we really aware about these all the points they have mentioned, like culture, values, and beliefs? But still, after so many years pass by, you are still remembering those stories, or rather, they are also proving applicable or useful in our current or present life as such. Do you agree with this? Hello. Is it making clear or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Miss, why I'm giving this example, not necessary always the researcher is only taking the help of this method as such, but even at our childhood days or whoever our parents who are doing the child rearing practices, they have also taken the help of these particular stories by just getting us understand about the belief system or even the value system of our family or rather our culture as such. So people use narratives to make sense of their experiences and find meaning in them. And as I said, we all have our own personal narratives that help us understand who we are and where we fit into the world. जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि हर एक का खुद का एक own understanding. Okay, and on that basis only we are usually trying to relate towards the outside world or rather the real world as. But again, there might be some kind of limitations or lacunas in our own understanding, which might not be able to give us the proper adaptation or adjustment in the world as such. So that there also to some extent that narratives are going to help us to correct our behavior or rather the beliefs as such. So studying other people's narratives allows us to learn about their cultures, values, and beliefs. So again, it is like two-way process. It is not only about personal level, but even about the other people also. So an example of narrative analysis would be analysis of the story of an individual's life. This would involve looking at the events that have occurred in the person's life, how they have affected the person, and what lessons can be learned from them. As I said earlier, if you imagine some role model in front of you and you are just trying to inspire by that particular person, or you are just trying to share read their experiences, and through them you are also understanding how that person's experiences are affected or influence you yourself. Okay, they say I can share my personal experience. When I was in school, I used to now also I like get motivated by that person, that is Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, and I had read his autobiography, that is माझे सत्याचे प्रयोग. Okay, so there also we can say yes, on the basis of that person's life, we also try to make changes in our life, or rather we try to develop ourselves. Okay, or it may not be the whole personality will be changed, but we try to look at his belief system or his value system as such and try to understand it. So exactly when they talk about the narrative analysis, there are 3 points or 3 to 4 points on which they are trying to work. One is character, then setting, plot, and theme. That is, whatever the story or whatever the narrative part has been narrated by the person or the individual will be checked or analyzed on this point of. Again, I made that more in descriptive manner. So first is, as all of you are aware, whenever we are reading any story or whenever we are trying to understand a narrative, it is a structural part of that particular narrative. So naturally, we will understand about what exactly the plot, that is the particular content related with that story, then who are the characters, and what exactly the setting in which that story has been happened, or rather the elaborated. So this kind of analysis will be more useful for the literary criticism. Like just imagine same book has been read by the psychologist or the researcher, and same book has been read by the English literate person, okay, or the person who is studying English literature as such. So naturally, the English literature person's point of view will be based on this 3-4 points. Okay, what is the story, what is the plot, characters, setting, everything. Okay. Then second is the another type of narrative analysis, which is based on thematic. That is, what is the core idea of that particular story, or rather the narrative. Okay. Again, it might be more related with one or the other emotion like love, loss, or betrayal. So it is again definitely trying to understand what kind of cultural background has been added in that particular story, or whoever the social groups who have been the part of that particular story. And the last is cultural type of narrative analysis, where reflection of values or beliefs of cultures. So usually we can also try to differentiate. Like whoever is the author, on the basis of that also we try to just predict or understand what kind of cultural aspects or background might have been explained or described in that particular story. So those analyses are also trying to help the researcher to understand about the history or rather the particular events as such. Okay, so these are the variety of forms. As already we discussed about biography, that is the whoever is the other person who is trying to write about the ex-individual's experiences or rather his whole life. Then autobiography, all of you are aware about. Then a life history, then personal experience story. That is, the person himself is trying to write his own story on the basis of either one particular incident or other. It can be elaborated in various episodes also. Like there are, like if he is covering around 20 years span of his life, he might try to develop or narrate about multiple episodes related with that. And there is also one oral history, which consists of gathering personal reflections of events and their causes and effects from one individual or several individuals. Like it is one of the form where they try to understand what exactly the reason behind what kind of reflections they have mentioned there, and on that basis they try to find out the reasons behind that or causes behind that. And exactly where we can use this narrative analysis. So naturally they have mentioned it is more suitable for personal memories, family stories, and cultural myths. And this method can help researchers to better understand how people make meaning of their lives and how they communicate this meaning to others. Like it might be possible that the person might be very good in oration as such, or oral communication as such, but sometimes he may not be able to what you can say, the write that particular experiences, individual experiences in a very good language as such. So that time he may not be able to exactly spread that thought or the meaning in a proper communicating language towards the others as. They have also referred about what exactly the procedures to conduct this research. So they have referred about for capturing the detailed stories or life experiences of a single life or the lives of a small number of individuals. This research might be more suitable, as we already discussed about qualitative research there. This is the basic sample size where we can be able to understand how narrative research can be more useful for the bigger number of sample as such. Okay, but hardly 2 or 3 student examinees narrative research can be done by one researcher. Then select one or more individuals who have stories or life experiences to tell and spend considerable time with them, gathering their stories through multiple types of information. Yes, means again the researcher need to think about this key, why I am choosing this particular person or individual, what exactly the big amount of information he or she can be able to give it to me, and on that basis I will be able to do some kind of inference or interpretation as it. Then research participant usually also record, means on in what way they can be able to collect the data. They can also maintain the journal or diary, and by talking with the person they can able to make it records. Researchers may also collect letters sent by individuals, assemble about individuals from family members, then gather documents such as memos or official correspondence about the individual, or obtain photographs, or there are some memory boxes. Here I remember, I think Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru has written many letters to Indira Gandhi. You all of might be aware about that. So that can also be one form of doing the narrative analysis by just checking those letters or the drafts of those letters, or even sometimes the person might be also getting the information by the near family members as such, or through them also they might be having some evidences which they have preserved in the documentation form, or some kind of memories related with the at personal or family level as such. And even they are saying narrative researchers situate individual stories within participants' personal experiences. It might be at their family level, like homes, or it might be at their work level or jobs, their culture, like racial or ethnic, and can also be possible to historical context, like time and place. Okay. And the last but very important part, the researcher has to re-story, that is, he might have to rearrange those all the content whichever has been gathered by that narrative analysis. Okay, or sometimes by restoring it, he need to follow the exact chronological sequence or exact rewriting of the particular story from the point of view of time, place, plot, and scene. Okay, so that can also be one of the biggest work by the researcher, because sometimes through that restoring itself, he is going to understand what kind of exact pattern or the causal link can be found out by the narratives as. Okay, or rather, sometimes it might be also giving the ideas about more than one theme on the basis of the person's narrative as such. So here are some challenges of this particular technique. Though we can use this narrative research in many of the areas as such, but yes, there are some specific features of this particular technique. One of that is the researcher needs to collect extensive information about the participant and must have the clear understanding of the context of the individual's life. Yes, like you can't just go on choosing the sample in a very random manner, or rather whichever is more convenient to you, because unless until you have the exact contextual information about that particular person or other whoever is your examining, it will be little difficult for you to go into details of that particular person. So it is also from the point of view of researcher that he must have the more expertise or active collaboration with the participant is very necessary, or he need to again, as I said, he need to check or confirm the information by reflecting again and again, or it might be also sometimes he has to shape that in a re-story form. Just the last point I am covering, advantages of this particular method. So narratives provide a rich source of data that can be used to understand the complexities of the human experience. As we already said, this technique is useful in sociology, psycholinguistic, or even education. So naturally, when they talk about dealing or surveying about the human experiences, which is again, I can say all of you know about that. It is too complex. We can't just decide the person's behavior on one or the other observation. So for that reason, narratives can also give us the helping hand. Then this can also be used to study a wide variety of topics and issues. And this can also help researchers to develop new theories and insight about the human experience. Though we are just focusing on one or two individuals, but still there is a possibility of individual experiences and theory generation on the collected data. And there are some disadvantages or limitations also. First of all, as I said earlier also, if there is a communication between only the researcher and the examiner or other the particular person, the way the researcher has collected the data or his own view about that particular data will be very much important, but that itself is little worrisome as such, or rather it is more, might be difficult, that it might not give the very holistic approach about that narrative as such, or sometimes it might be also having some little bias also because of the culture or because of the socio-cultural point of view or even other reasons as well. As I said, again, there is a communication between researcher and examining. So it is a quite lengthy treatment, technique as such, or rather they might have to meet for years, or days or months together to collect that large amount of data. And last is, it is often used to study individual cases, which can make generalization difficult, because again, we can't label the person just by seeing one particular case and then finalizing that particular information or theory as such. So I think here we have completed the 2 points related with qualitative research. One is phenomenological research and last was narrative analysis. I think quite a lot of information has been added in this presentation as well, because as I said earlier also, much theory has been written about this, all methods, but now it is from your side that you have to do your own studies or related with that content, how can be able to elaborate that in a more suitable examples as well. Any doubt, any question, or any sharing you want to about this particular content?
Ma'am, can you give one example related to psychology field, as in narrative inquiry, how we use this in psychology?
Narrative inquiry, you mean to ask?
Yes.
I can share one experience with you all. Actually, I have one IGNOU student. She was doing a project related with her master's, and that time she has chosen the specialization as counseling psychology. And, she was just sharing with me that she has some contact, some references towards some, you all might be knowing about Ashram Shala. Have you heard about this? Ashram Shala?
Yes, ma'am.
So she wanted to work towards the girls who are studying in that ashram shala. Okay, so actually she has shared with me that some of the girls on whom she want to conduct this research, they are the orphan children. Okay, so but still she was thinking, once in a week or twice in a week, she used to visit those particular location or set up herself, and she wanted to use narrative analysis there to collect the data from those girls who are studying in that ashram. Okay, so I just suggested her ki, as they are like very young girls in the age group around 6 years to 12 years. Okay, and she was thinking, ma'am, why not I can collect that data, and through that I will be able to form some particular kind of research work. So now I am also asking you all people about this, ki, whether it was really the easier method for her to apply there in those on those girls as such, or what might be the alternatives she must have thought about, or we might have decided about to, that might help her to gather the data or collect the information from those orphan girls. Yeah, initially what kind of other techniques you might use there, and then slowly she might miss those girls might get open up and easily start talking with her about their own personal lives.
Madam, what she wanted to do, madam?
Actually, she has some miss what can say. She has some contact over there. She want to just help those children. She has some friend or somebody who is running that particular ashram shala. But she was more interested about those orphan children, girls. Thought about this research. Why not I can take this only as my topic. She has some connect since 2-3 years of that particular ashram shala, and then later on she joined this MA from IGNU University as such, and then she thought about in a way of counseling psychology as a specialization, why not I can do some kind of work towards those children.
Has she formalized what she has to do? Means what research methodology? What is the topic? Directly orphan children.
No, that can be just I am sharing this particular experience with you all. Okay? How far it means, if she has thought about doing some qualitative research, because hardly there are some 8 to 10 girls to whom she can be able to easily meet there, because she has some earlier contact with them prior to the work she has started. So there also, like, I'm asking you all only, okay, is it so simpler for her to just collect the data from just talking with them, or the whoever is might be taking care of those girls in that particular location, they can also help her to gather that data as such, or why she herself with. Means just imagining if she is a student of counseling psychology, how she will be able to gather that particular information from those children. Initially, why and how she might start. Just imagine the age group is from 6 to 12. They are not like very older girls as such.
Can't give their consent, ma'am. So she needs help.
Ma'am, it's more about building rapport with the
Yes,
children.
yes, right.
Because even like when I have to work with children from the low resources group, it is very difficult to let them open up, because they don't trust.
Yes,
Like
right.
they have a lot of issues, especially if the example that you're giving, the children are twins, they already have a lot of their personal issues to deal with in trusting
Yes,
people.
yes, yes,
So
right.
building will take a lot of time. So collecting
Yes,
data will be like a way later part. Like she might actually have to invest a lot of time in, just going, visiting them, making sure that, they see her as someone they can trust. And it's
right,
not
right.
easy.
Yes, so that only I meant to say, ki, for few visits, she might just have to go there and visit it. Okay. Then slowly, if they start like, okay, they are coming to nearer her or they are trying to talk with her, that time also she might have to use some kind of play way technique. है ना? Because as I said, ki they are very younger, children, like 6, 7, 8. She might some drawing books or something like that, है ना? And had to be sitting with together with her, and then
Ma'am, we lost your voice.
hello.
Yes, ma'am, now you're audible. We lost your voice for like 2 minutes.
That I'm seeing that connection is again coming again. So that, as I said, not necessarily they will express each and everything in through words, but sometimes she might have to take the help of those drawings or those particular whatever things they have drawn on those drawing paper or whatever it is like that. Okay, so that's only I also suggested her. Okay, it might be possible to just go on collecting the data from 1 or 2 children who are the part of that group as such. It will take more time also, and just on the basis of that few sample, it will be difficult to just come to the conclusion. Yes, those all orphanage children are the part of the same institute and they are having some similar findings as such. Why I gave this example when we talk about narrative analysis, naturally, every individual story is different. And the way they express that story is also little different. So it is like आपण असं म्हणूया मराठीमध्ये की हे रिसर्चरचाच कस लागणार आहे. त्याची परीक्षा आहे की how he will like infer the data and how he will try to make it more understandable as well. Okay. So have I asked, given the right answer to your query? Pauravi has asked, na? Who has asked me the question?
Ma'am, Amrita.
Amrita, acha, huh.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
it clear now? Huh.
Yes.
Any other question or doubt you all have?
Madam and sir, both I have a generalized doubt. Is about the research methodology overall, whatever course we have completed. My this question is that it's okay that when we understand this all methodology, sampling and qualitative, quantitative study, but the thing is that how we come to a conclusion that this sampling method, this research design, or quantitative or mixed model, what to do? So what guides us, or what is that canard which we can build from where we can just come to a conclusion that we have to do this type of study?
Sorry, is answering.
Hello.
Sorry, is that Farah?
Yes, ma'am. Sir, are you there?
It's whether we have to just means study all the designs and sampling methods and all the characteristics of all the studies. So we should be almost completely sure about the characteristics, and then we can come, or is there some magic tool that we can come to that, yes, this is the design, this is the sampling method, this is the thing which we can apply?
See, Amit sir, actually your doubt is very natural, but first of all, so you have to finalize your research question or research problem. Okay. And then by reading that again and again, or rather reading the review of literature pertaining to that topic, you yourself will get an idea ki which methodology or which design or which approach, like quantitative or qualitative, will be more suitable. है ना? So like I tried to give you the more theoretical part or information about that, but again from problem to problem, question to question, the methodology might differ. So it is not like a sure shot formula कि yes ये टाइप के रिसर्च है ना तो आपको यही करना है, ये टाइप के रिसर्च है तो आपको क्वालिटेटिव में ही जाना है. Okay, so that's only we say कि first of all you need to define the research problem or the broader area of that particular problem or research question as such, and then you can go down. Okay? Yes, in this way I can be able to move ahead.
And then literature review also help us.
Yes, yes. वही मैं बोल रही हूँ ना कि unless until you read many articles, research paper, then you get that eye. कि yes, if something like that only I also want to work. So which method it will be more suitable as?
Ma'am, more or less the selection of research design is depends on the objective and the selection of variables.
Yes, yes, right.
What tools are available for a particular variable, what type of result we can get from the review of literature. So after that, like as you told, first we have to formulate our research problem. So by formulating our research problem, we can also define our variables. Once we define our variable, then we search the tools by which tool we can get our objectives.
Yes. Yeah, it is also
that is
possible.
the research design.
Yes, yes. Yeah, as you are saying about tools, that is a test. Hai na? But again,
Yes,
I can
ma'am.
say, like if I say now our MA psychology students are finalizing some topic, but until the end, they are not very clear whether they are going to get the standardized test related with that particular variable. है ना? So again, they had to mold, they had to modify कि नहीं मैम इसका test मिल रहा है लेकिन इसका age group, my sample can't be available in this age. So naturally, I will have to shift my either variable or I have to check about the availability of the tool also. And so that's only I am saying कि ये sure shot formula कहाँ नहीं मिलेगा, कौन से भी book में नहीं मिलेगा. It is more or less your like practical knowledge. And I said कि go on reading the researches, prior researches, articles, research papers. Yeah, even you can talk with your seniors also. है ना? Yes, Seema, you want to say something?
Ma'am, and in some situation, particular situation, when we select our tools or test and we just go through with the norms, then no one is like not, we didn't get a bunch of tests, we can apply for all the variables on the same group.
Yes,
that is the major problem.
Yes. Yeah, SAP है ना, like nowadays you have the like Google Baba everywhere, you can have that chance to take that. But most of the time those online tests doesn't have any kind of description about the psychometric properties or as you said, norms also, nothing is there. So मिल जाता है आपको test मिल जाता है. Like if I say pursue social support की मुझे कुछ तो भी test मिल गई. Everything is there, items are there, everything is there. But below that, they have not given any clear description about how to do the scoring, which are the positive items, which are the negative items, nothing is there. And how you are going to use that. And most, now at a little senior level, it might be possible that you might do the contact with those authors or whoever the reference is given about that. Sometimes they try to help you also. Like there are many websites.
But ma'am, it will take times.
Yes, that is there. Again, miss, you have to focus
a lot of times.
Yes, time period is there.
Like we are just waiting for their emails to get the whole manual of the particular test.
Yes, it is.
And if we have the time bond, like we have to submit the dissertation of a student, then we can't do this thing.
We can't wait for that long. No?
Yes, ma'am. So this is the necessary part of any research to identify the variable and get the proper tool. After that, we are able to justify which research design, which sampling method we are going to do.
Yes, yes. That day also, when we were discussing sampling, I told you most of the research, at least we and you do, that is on the basis of non-probability sampling. We can't use the probability sampling method because it will be too time consuming also, or rather we don't have that much availability of time also. Like chance factor agar aapko dekhna hai, to it can't be possible always in at least psychology. So we used to go for purposive sampling, convenience sampling, judgment sampling. ज्यादा से ज्यादा उसके ऊपर नहीं जा सकते हम लोग, because it has some constraint. Any other question or doubt or sharing you want to? All others? Farah?
Yes, ma'am. Students, if you have any doubt, you can ask ma'am, because today is last day of ma'am. Then
We
you will
won't.
have exam. Okay. So
Hmm.
ask whatever you have, whatever doubt you have. Today is your day.
I will share that remaining content also today or by
Yes.
tomorrow morning. Okay?
Students, if you have any doubt, please you clear your doubt.
Sir, we, sir, actually Amit was asking something. I don't know how much he is now cleared about it.
Satisfied about the answer.
Which one?
Amit, do you want to ask sir?
Sir, I just asked madam that my problem is question was that how to come to a conclusion that this research design, this sampling or this type of study done. So I got a very good response from them, like formulating the research problem and especially this independent variable and dependent variable to be decided, and then searching the tool or the test, proper tool, and then justifying the design. So this was my questions.
Okay, when you are dealing with the independent and dependent, that means you are studying the impact.
Yeah.
So that is the causal relationship.
Yeah.
So it has some effect on this particular dependent variable. So that is the assumption. Therefore, the assumption of the causal relationship and the assumption of simple relationship is different. So the research design will be different in both cases.
So what is the difference between simple relationship and causal relationship?
When it is the causal relationship, then you have to control other variables. Okay. For example, when you want to do the regression, this regression indicates the causal relationship. But this causal relationship will occur when you will control the other variables that may affect your dependent variable or the predicted variable. But when you are talking about the effect of certain variable on the dependent variable, then usually you use the t-test or ANOVA like that.
That is simple, sir.
This is simple. For example, different techniques are there. So now you follow that it is an online teaching, offline teaching, and you want to find out the effect of the teaching method on the academic achievement. So if it is like that, then one group exposed to the online, another similar type of group, that is of course the homogeneous individuals, they will be exposed to the offline group. And the same type of instruction will be there in both cases. And finally, the academic achievement that will be studied. So that is the research design. So it will be the randomized block design. So there are different research designs. This is a randomized block design. I think this is already discussed, no?
Yes, sir. Actually, he wants some simple formula to choose or take. what variables I can study and in what way, and what sampling method or research design he can be able to formulate. So I said it will be more dependent on the research question you have decided.
That is true. What is your research
Then only
question?
we can be able to plan.
Your research question is important.
Or they can also read various articles, research papers. Then only also they get an idea what they had done and what is the similarity in our work and their.
Yeah, your research question is important. Okay.
Right. And sir, another question, whether the mixed model methodology has any application here in psychometrics or in psychology?
Which method?
Mixed model.
Weeks means I can understand.
Both qualitative and quantitative. You want to ask in
mixed. You are talking the mixed.
Mixed.
Yes,
Okay, so that is okay. So this qualitative as well as the quantitative, that is valid. And the qualitative will give you the information about the nature of the different domains. That is number one. Or after collection of the quantitative data based upon your findings, so you have identified that is some people have the qualities which is very much related to your test findings. And then you interviewed those individuals and you have got some response. And that can be corroborated in your thesis. That is possible. So qualitative data you can collect initially for exploring the domains of your research, or after analysis of your quantitative data, then you can collect some qualitative. That is also possible. I examine this type of thesis also.
Vice versa can be done.
So qualitative data you can collect initially and qualitative data after. That is also possible. Okay. Now here is one our observation. That is when we have started applied psychometrics only for 1 month. Sorry, 2 months. Then I am thinking, okay, the first month will be the theory and second month will be the practical. And finally, I have observed that the students have understood, but not very clearly. So I am thinking to make it 3 months. And finally, I am thinking the 6 months. After that, I will think about the 1 year. So the students can understand many things. So that is also the our research, particularly for facilitating applied psychometrics. And now I am thinking about the infographics. Why? Because the infographics is also part of the applied psychometrics, but in the different manner. The approach is little bit different, but we can merge it in near future. Then applied psychometrics will be a big division. Under that division, this infographics will be there. So this is my plan, but okay, let it grow first. So in this manner, we are developing our course, because all our courses are based upon our own research design. Okay. And we have taken interview, we have taken the written test, and we analyze the test answer, and we repeatedly studied it. That is where lies the problem. Whether it is a problem of the month or whether it's a problem of the attendance. Last time I have shown Farah, the correlation statistics of the student performance. That is this final examination results. That is to what extent related with the attendance and to what extent related with the assignment. Okay. So there are different type of, so the thing is that you have to think about your own research question. If you can share your research question, then madam is there, madam can clarify you. Okay, so Amrita, Pooja, Shima, Shara, Porobi, any question?
No, sir, no, ma'am.
Today is the madam's last
No,
class.
sir.
So if you have any question, whether you have understood the qualitative research method, I think it is clear to all of you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can we just have one picture with ma'am and students? Today is last day.
Oh, that's nice.
Is it okay, sir? I won't be able to meet them again. So I said, Farah, whether we can click that photo. Just
Why
tell
not,
them
madam? You will
the
be
cameras.
again and again with us. I have followed your presentation. I have followed everything. And I have noted that I will invite you again for another course.
Okay,
So
sir.
that's not the
My
problem.
pleasure.
Only thing we have to facilitate.
So
Okay,
students,
yes,
can you please,
definitely.
yeah, students, please switch on your camera.
Your camera is not on, Farah.
Yes, sir. Well, you know my problem. Actually, let me just switch on my camera. One sec. Ma'am, 1 second. I just need 1 second.
Yes. Sure. So keep studying, keep researching, all of you. Okay. My best wishes to all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Ma'am, can we discuss the matters in the group?
Yes, till I am there in the group. Till I don't leave the group, you can.
Okay,
No
ma'am.
issue.
Till 3rd of the February.
Yes.
Sorry,
March.
So,
March.
Farah, is
Not-
it ready?
Now we are about to.
Actually, the background.
Ah.
Ma'am,
Amit sir is not there, I think. Farah?
Amit, are you ready? We will
He was-
use this picture in future, so please, students.
My video is on.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
can
thank
click.
you.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
everybody. Who has
Has
taken photo?
somebody clicked the photo?
Ma'am,
Farah?
sir has clicked it. Actually,
Sarah?
yes, ma'am. I joined from mobile.
Ah.
So, ma'am, sir has clicked it. Ma'am, you can also take it,
Okay.
ma'am.
Acha. Because we have to take that photo no, of the meeting. Okay.
I have
Okay.
sent in the group. Sorry, in
Yes,
to
sir.
to to
Thank you,
Farah,
sir.
to Farah.
No issue. No issue. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Chalo
See
then.
you very soon.
Thank you, madam.
All the
Thank you.
best. Huh? Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. See you
Thank you.
soon. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Yes. Bye.
Bye. Take care, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Good night, ma'am.
Weekend.
Good night, madam.
Okay. Good night. Good night, all of you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, Shima.
Hello. Yes, sir. I have some question regarding the project.
Yeah, please.
Sir, I have typed all the questions regarding the organizational health questionnaire. So can I communicate to Farha?
You want to get the organization health questionnaire?
Sir,
I have
that
already
is,
given, na?
yes. I have made it's like a word form, na?
What
Because
form
it
means?
wasn't means I have to change the bank word with the schools and employees with the teachers.
Oh, acha. Okay.
So,
Okay.
sir, I just thought ki if you checked it and revert me back. And the
Yeah, then we have to sit together again.
okay.
Because you are not available, na? Always. That is the problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if you are not available, then how can I help you?
Sir, because after that we have to like design all the project work, how we can done this thing.
Okay, but you have to complete your own dissertation. That is important.
Yes, sir.
So we can sit together tomorrow.
Sir, timings.
Okay,
The same time
from 8.
in evening.
Oh, in the evening. No. In the morning I can give time.
In the morning. Okay. In the morning.
8
Not-
a.m.
8 a.m. in the morning. Okay, I will tell Farha.
Okay, you tell Farah.
Because it's my daughter's timing to go to school.
Now I can give you the time, if you have the time.
Okay.
I can give you the time now.
At this time, at present.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't open my laptop and all the material. Sir, first kindly see the test which I modified.
Okay, you show me.
And after that, I can send you on WhatsApp or I can send the Farha.
Okay, you send to the Farah.
Okay.
It is the responsibility of Farah to knock me repeatedly.
She is not in this meeting at present.
No, Farah is very sincere. Farah is very sincere. So that is the advantage.
Yes, sir. She
Otherwise,
is.
we cannot manage all those things. She is a good program coordinator. She is managing. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir, first I will send the material to Farha and a little the design
Please,
of my work.
Please you write down the domain after that item.
Okay, but I don't have any information about the domains because I have only the items.
No, but item is related to the domain. No?
Okay. Okay.
The
I will
item should
try.
be related with the domain.
I understand. Okay.
Otherwise, how can I?
Okay.
Got
Okay,
it?
sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Yeah. Good night.
Okay. Good night, sir.
Good night.